Hi, today I'm going to present to you a video walkthrough for comp9321 Web Application Engineering Assignment 2. Our goal is to design and implement a fully functional online bookstore. We follow the following design pattern: a model view controller, a front controller, surface locator, and data access object. A model view controller is a J2EE Blueprint's recommended architectural design pattern for interactive application. A front controller command is for providing a central dispatch point to handle all incoming requests. A surface locator is typically used in business layer for locating resources such as database connection. A data access object is typical pattern for data access layer. In our control servlet, you will see a lot of commands. For example, we have the login command, we have the basic search command, we have the logout command, entry info command, and etc. and etc. We also have a DB connection factory class. The underlying SQL server we're using is MySQL, as you can see from here. In our web applications, we have a lot of different functions. We have seller functions, customer functions, and admin functions. And because of the scale of the assignment, we cannot cover everything. We will only consider the following scenario. For the customer, the user will first register for a customer account. The user will then log in, search for a book, view the detail of the book, put the book in the shopping cart, and then later the user will find a better book, so that he will put the second book in the shopping cart and remove the first book, finalize the payment and checkout, and then the customer will log out. For the seller will log in, add a new item for sale, post an old item, and then he will log out. For the admin will log in, ban a user, delete an item for sale, and also check the user activity, and then log out. So now let's look at what happens when the user wants to register for a customer account. The user can register by clicking this button, and this will bring the user to the registration form. Note that HTML5 input validation is enabled, and therefore it means the only email format for email, a date format for DOB, a number format for postcode only. And let's look at what will happen when the user clicks the submit button. Once the user clicks the submit button, a register command will be triggered. A user DTO object will be created, and all the information entered on the registration form will be passed into this DTO. A JDBC user .AO implementation will execute the following SQL. The insert into user's value, and all the user's value will be pulled from the user DTO created earlier. And let's look at what will happen when the user log in. The user can log in from the front page. After clicking in the login button, the login command will be triggered. The user DTO will source the user information that contains the same name as the username. If the database cannot source any user, that means the username doesn't exist. If the user name is found, you will check against the password. If the password is incorrect, a message of password is incorrect will be displayed. If the user is banned, the message this account has been barred from the site will be displayed. If the user hasn't activated the account yet, the message this account hasn't yet been activated will be displayed. And inside the JDBC user DAO implementation, this is the underlying algorithm. Select star from users where username equals to question mark. Now let's look at the customer when he is searching for a book. After the user log in, the user can perform the search function here. It depends on what they want to search, either title, author, editor, publisher, or journal. We will execute different commands. So let's look at what will happen if the user want to search for something under title. We will first form a regular expression, and then we'll pass into the prepare statement select star from entry where title regular expression question mark and pause equal false, so that only the long pause the item will be displayed. And let's look at what will happen when the user want to view the detail of the book. After the user search for a book, the web application will bring the user to this page. The link, the book title is a link, and then each page will display about 10 results. And please note that from the previous search function, all the retrieved result will pass to the JSP. So when the user clicks the next page, it won't perform the search function again. It will just display the second 10 results. As you can see from here, there's 8 pages here. So when the user click on the link, it will bring to this detailed page, and then you can see all the detailed information about the book. So let's look at what will happen when the user put the book in the cart. The user can put the item in the cart by pressing this button. As this is from the entry info, the entry info command will be triggered. So you will first look at whether this book is in the shopping cart or not. If it is in the shopping cart, a message of already in the cart will appear. Otherwise, it will trigger the JDBC book DAO implementation and then insert into the shopping cart. Now, what will happen if the user want to delete the first book and remove and then add a second book? First, the user has to go into the shopping cart by clicking the shopping cart button on the top, and then select the book that he wants to remove, and then press the remove button. And since the book is in the shopping cart already, a cart command will be triggered, so that the book DTO will pass the book to the JDBC book DAO implementation, and then the delete from shopping cart where username equals to question mark and entry info equal to question mark will be executed. It will also insert value into the cart history, so that we can keep track of what user been deleting and adding. So let's look at what happens when the user check out. If the user wants to purchase an item, he just needs to press the purchase button. On the background, it will use the shopping cart DAO and then you will trigger the JDBC book DAO implementation. First, you will first delete from the shopping cart, and then you will insert an entry into the order. And then when the user finishes the purchase, he can click the logout button on the top, and then you will trigger the logout command, which will invalidate the session. Now let's look at the seller functions. First, login. The seller will log in at the same page as the customer. As there's no difference to a customer login or seller login, we will just go through this. You can review what happened on the previous slide. And this is what will display on the seller account. It will list all the items that's selling currently by this seller, and it will display 10 per page, and the user can go through the pages by clicking the next button at the bottom. To retrieve all these items on sale, an item on sale command will be triggered, and the result passed to a book DTO by using the JDBC book DAO implementation. In here, a prepared statement of select star from entry where seller equals to question mark will be executed. So now let's look at what happens when the user want to add a new item for sale. By pressing the link on the top, it will bring the seller to a new item registration form. So an adding command will be triggered. All the information from the JSP will pass onto the book DTO, and then the book DTO will pass to JDBC book DAO implementation, and then the insert into entry SQL will be executed. And let's look at what happens when the seller wants to pause an item. The link will bring them to the detailed item info view. The seller can pause an item by clicking the button at the end, or the seller can pause the item in the detail view. Once the pause button has been clicked, a pause command will be triggered. And then a JDBC book DAO implementation will be executed. In here, you will update the entry and set the pause to true or false, depending on what's the previous state. And then let's look at what happens when the seller wants to log out. The seller can just log out by simply clicking the button on the top. As this is no different to the customer logout, we will just skip this. If you want to review, please go back to the previous slide. And let's look at the admin function. The admin will log in through a different page. This is for security reasons, so that normal user won't accidentally log into admin pages. So since the user login and admin login uses the same function, they look at different database, we just skip that. Once the admin login, this is the front page that will bring up. He can search for books, or search for users, or just list all the users, or list all the books. So let's look at what happens when the user is being banned by the admin. So if the admin click the user button, a list of all the users in the system will be listed here. And the user who can be banned by the admin by clicking the ban button. When the ban button is being clicked, a ban command will be triggered. And then inside the JDBC user DAO implementation, you will update the record and set the ban to ban or unban, depends on the previous state. And let's look at what happens when the user wants to delete an item for sale. The admin can delete an item by clicking the delete item button on the list under the book, or the admin can go into detail view and click the delete item from here. A delete entry command will be triggered. And inside the JDBC book DAO implementation, an SQL statement of delete from entry where ID equals to question mark will be executed. And let's look at what happens when the admin wants to check the user activity. When the user is being selected, in the detail view of the user is separated into two parts. The first part is the user cart history. It listed all the user cart activity, including the item, the add time, and the remove time. Also, you also include the user order history, includes all the books the user bought and who's the seller. So in the admin user info command, you will request the history of the order and also the history of the cart. Inside the JDBC cart history implementation, you will request all the information by using the following SQL: select star from card history where username equal to question mark. And to retrieve all the order info, this SQL statement will be executed: select star from orders entry where username equals to question mark. And then let's look at what happens when the admin wants to log out. The admin can just log out by clicking the button on the top right. As that's no different to a user logging out or the admin logging out, we'll just skip this part as well. Please review if you have any further questions. And this is the end of the video walkthrough of the comp9321 assignment 2. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.